Good evening, good morning, and good afternoon for anybody tuning in at this point in time on this video today. Now, for us, this is a big topic because people have been talking about this since the movie got out, like after you watched it. But I wanted people to have a chance to say what they believe before I had a chance to speak on this part. Now, as you've seen, the topic of this video today is the Miles that we see at the end of the movie of Across the Spider-Verse, is he evil or is he not? Now, I ain't gonna lie, first glance, me and my boys and my girlfriend, we all thought he was evil just because the way he comes off, the way he pull up in the darn Prowler drip, and the way he's speaking to our Miles as if he don't give a damn about his father. And he even made it clear. You hear him speak, he's like, we need to save our father. He's like, your father, not mine. I'm like, dang, he sound evil from the get-go. But now I'm a little mixed about it, only because I have been hit with added information that we did not get into the movie. Now, if you go on TikTok, and I bet it ain't there no more, they said there was some deleted footage from the movie talking about how we should have got this version of Miles, because this would have gave us a clear input about this Miles. However, now I look at it, and it's got me conflicted. According to the deleted scene that we were supposed to get, this Miles, the Prowler version of Miles, he don't come off as really evil. He's more like a Robin Hood type character. He'll come in, steal the things he needs, and either give it to his mom or people in the neighborhood. But this one in particular, he stole medicine with his uncle and left it on his mother's windowsill for her to take and use. Now, I'm a little conflicted because of that, because in the original cut, it wasn't there. But now, I don't believe he evil no more, in my opinion. That's where I stand. Nate, what you think?
No, basically, I have to agree with you. I see him more as a vigilante, basically helping his folks, helping his mom, etc. Services, police force, basically what took his father away, and yeah. So I see him more as a vigilante, just a hero he wants to be, but not going this route that people deem that seems right.
Now, from glance, I already know his uncle has a very huge influence on this Miles. And look, they made it clear in the first movie that we seen him. His uncle already had an influence that his dad already gets mad at the fact that he does. If you pay attention to the way he acts, he really don't like how his brother is around Miles. He don't even want Miles around him at all. And for some reason, every version we get of Miles, his pops don't want him nowhere around his uncle. However, there is still love for his uncle from his pops. Nevertheless, it's just he wish he wasn't, a criminal. You got the cop and criminal dynamic. Every time I see Miles with his uncle, he has this influence, like he's either a secondary dad or like that big brother he wish he had. I ain't gonna lie, my uncle's like the big brother to me every time he come around. We just talk like casual brothers. Not casual. I meant casual, my bad. Casual brothers. So every time I see Miles with Uncle Aaron, every time I know he has his fingers hooked in this boy. And look, we've been arguing about this back and forth. I really think his uncle took his grief and twisted it to his liking. And when I say that, I know he is family. So I don't think he did it on purpose. I think he really did it to, put Miles in a direction where he can take it and aim it at something. And in his way, he aimed it at him being more of a crook than a good kid in school. Something he was kind of already sort of doing when we saw him in the first movie. When he goes in the subway, they start doing graffiti on the walls and trains and junk, which ain't really a bad thing, but it's Uncle Aaron. So, but I know you didn't believe that his uncle has this whole, given the fact we have this canon event going on, and now you don't know what's really supposed to happen and what's not, unless you read the books. But according to the movies, the canon event has two specific actions the captain of the police force has to die, and somebody close to Spider-Man has to die as well for him to be Spider-Man. For Peter Parker, it was Uncle Ben. For every other character, by far, it was Uncle Ben. And for the captain, like in the song Gwen Stacy, her dad, it was supposed to die, but it changed. For Spider-Man, Gwen Stacy's dad did die in his canon books. Same goes for half the other Spider-Man we've seen by far. Even Hobie, the Spider-Punk, he said his version of Uncle Ben was murdered too. Spider-Man Noir's uncle was eaten by the Vulture in this universe, which I ain't gonna lie is a pretty grotesque way to go, getting eaten by a circus act. That's crazy. And he's a veteran in Noir's universe. So for me, since his dad is the captain in this Earth 42 by the way, and his uncle is still around, it seemed inevitable. God, I couldn't get out my mouth. Inevitable. Look, here I am having a hard time with this Infinity War reference. Inevitable for him to become the Prowler. You think otherwise. I don't know, Nay. His pops ain't around to stop him.
Like I said before, the reason they did the first because they and Uncle Sync and told them to sing puppets. That's the part. But let's go on to the back of the subject.
I won't say I don't know, Nick, because it's the same thing. It is still a subject. It's still about Miles in general in this canon event. Because now we have like 3 versions of Miles, 4 actually, we've seen on screen, big and small. Because you see the Miles from the Ultimate Spider-Man universe, you notice you don't see the Prowler anywhere. Not anywhere. You've seen his mom, but you don't see his pops neither. Now, in my opinion, I think in that universe, either they writ that on purpose to keep them both out since they didn't have that much to do with the story, or they both had a falling out and it's just Miles and his mom left. But hey, I don't know. The show was still going a little bit by the book's premise, but it's in its own direction. But I only say that too because you notice the animated suit for Spider-Man, or in this case for Miles Morales, is in this game. So I had to just throw that up there. So technically you have 4 to 5 versions of Miles in big media that you can look from, because all of them had the same sort of situation of the canon event. Either his uncle dies or his pops dies. And then the captain part we haven't even got to when it comes to Miles. He ain't been Spider-Man long enough for that to happen. All we have is what the movies give us. His dad is about to become captain right now. On Earth 42, his dad is already captain and he was killed. No, you can't correct me because I'm saying the Miles we got is about to be captain. You can't say that. I'm still trying to explain. You can't correct when I'm still explaining. I'm trying to get there. So that's the first 2 versions of Miles we got. But then if you bring in we're going to say PS5 Spider-Man for now, since PS4 is Peter Parker, since he's in the movie. PS5 Spider-Man, Miles Morales. His pops has already passed. Who's the captain now is the biggest question. Yuri, excuse me, I'm sorry. Yuri Watanabe already just went rogue. So she ain't captain no more. So now we don't know who's captain of the police force. They don't even show it in this game. They don't even tell you at the end of PS4 Spider-Man who's the captain now because of the DLC. So now his uncle is still in the picture in this game, but you clearly see he is still being influenced by his uncle, even though his mom has said she don't want nothing to do with his uncle. And even before his dad passed, he had a whole file on his uncle. He could have turned him in at any point, but he loved him so much. He instead just said, you stay away from Miles and all of them, and then I won't turn you in. So there's still some love for Aaron in this series. But you see how he dealt with Finn. You see how he had to fight Aaron just to get like stuff done or get his point across. He still sees Aaron as family, but the hold on him broke in this game after the fallout with Finn. That's why I say it don't matter what version of Miles you get, Uncle Aaron still has an influence over him no matter how you want to look at it. So him being the Prowler in this universe, since he's still alive with no powers, it seemed like it was inevitable for him to become the Prowler, or at least the sidekick to him or the next Prowler in line. Mind you, I just already cleared. Aaron loved him like family. He's been seen in every version to love Miles. Let's just put that out there. But for him becoming the Prowler, knowing he does not have any kids of his own, I wouldn't be shocked if he were trying to show him the ropes, or at least use his tech to his own ends to means. So if it's taking care of his mom, for example, I wouldn't be shocked if he happily said, Uncle Aaron, can you train me to be like you? And I bet he smiled and said, look, little bro, let's go train. I wouldn't be shocked. It would have been like Rocky, like a little underdog story. I wouldn't be shocked at all. And that deleted scene, it probably would have gave me that thought, that notion. He chose to be the Prowler for the betterment of his own family, for his mom specifically. Now, let's be fair. There are half of the Spider-Man fans who think Uncle Aaron is smashing his mom now, just because his pops ain't around. You notice how she don't mention him much, and she act like she don't know what's going on when it comes to Miles, Aaron, all of them. She seems so clueless. That ain't the mother of Miles Morales that I know, especially in this game. She does notice about Miles being gone for so long, studying so much with Genki, saying he's going to work out late at night. And mind you, in this game, he's on winter break. So he can only do so much within, what, 2 or 3 weeks?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. In the movie, I'm a little scared for her. I'm a little scared for her because I know deep down in my soul, either she is clueless and she just seems so innocent, or she knows the whole situation, but she don't want a single finger in it. And I know that's her son too. So deep down in my soul, she probably don't know nothing. And I don't know because the deleted scene told me she was ill. In the movie, it don't give you no. Sorry, I'm talking too much. Kind of thirsty.
Go ahead,
It don't
continue.
give you
Take your time.
any information telling you that she's ill when you see her at the end of the movie and he thinking, oh, I'm home, I made it. No, she don't seem ill, she don't seem sick. You just see her chilling in the house, waiting for Miles. And then it hit you with that plot twist of the movie, which was really good. Still mad till this day about that darn movie, but that's okay. So, Nay, every version we got so far of Miles, each one tells you a different situation, but the canon still seems to remain the same, no matter how you want to look at it. You have Miles, and his pops is either a cop, or he's a captain who passed away, or about to. His dad is still a part of the police force. That's a given. His uncle is still a criminal. That's a given. And guess who died in the first Into the Spider-Verse movie? His uncle did. So somebody close by him passed. So now the captain has to pass. And sadly to say it, that's his pops. So, let me ask you this, and this is possibly a possible theory. What if it happened in reverse? Wouldn't you be shocked if it happened on Earth 42? His dad was the captain. Maybe the Prowler might pass away next, just by either protecting this Miles or saving this Miles. You never know. But do you also believe, which is another one, do you think that the canon event happened with him in unison? His pops passed away, and his pops was the captain of the police force in New York. Is it possible that it can happen in such a way that you wouldn't think about having a two-parter? It could be all in unison.
I said we never know.
Well, yeah, we're not gonna know, but it's a possibility. It's just a theory. That's what I want to call it, a theory. Because if it's true, the canon event needs two things. It needs a personal death and then the death of the captain. That's what Miguel said, right? Two of those things have to happen. Because you saw it in Spider-Man of India. He saved the captain. So that was part one. Part two is when he told you about the origin story of Spider-Man. So Uncle Ben, Uncle Aaron, and all the other versions of either Uncle Ben or even Aunt May or anybody close to him, even Gwen Stacy counts. Some of the Spider-Man have even been made together because of Gwen Stacy, Mary Jane. Anybody in Spider-Man's love circle, no matter how the relation may be, that at least one of them have to die, sadly.
Wow. death in our Miles universe, let's just say, based on how the animation going and future vision, it was outlined to play someone like a sketch, not outline polished and colored. It's living like black and white. It's like a first starter point. Images you put down the paper as an artist. Basically, it's like you just sketching just to make sure it works, it looks correctly. You feel like it's the best picture. You outline it and color it. That depends on your choice. But it's just mostly just sketch. Just mostly pencil sketch and black and white too. So this I saw that video on TikTok and they said it could be prevention. There could be a chance that Miles able to prevent his father's death.
I wouldn't be shocked. Half the reason why he became the Prowler, or at least a reason. There's so many on the table right now. Honestly, it's all up in smoke. You really would never know. And I'm not trying to be like saying, oh, you're wrong or I'm wrong. We both saw 2 different TikTok videos and both of them were from different sources. But hey, at the end of the day, this Miles could be either or. He could be, there are so many things that could have happened with him. He could have been influenced by Aaron. He could have been angry at the world. He could have felt bad his father passed and he couldn't do anything about it. His mom got ill after his pops passed and he may have to do something about it. Shoot, it's an infamous amount of things.
Okay,
But like,
well, let me ask you this. This is a personal question. Considering when you were a teenager, if you were in Miles' situation and you basically got the chance to actually help your family, you would actually do it.
yes, no questions. I would have done it. I ain't gonna lie, there are certain things I would have never done, but I probably would have done if it was a betterment of my family. If my pops passed away right now and my mom needed my help, yes, I would do my best and everything I could to help her out, even if it's just by herself. Because I got siblings. I'm gonna just say that I have siblings. All of us are grown now, by the way. But if it was like back when I was 15, we were all just chilling in the house one day, and I just got like the message, my pops passed away. If I ever got that message, yes, I would put in the work to do what my pops taught me to do, which was take his place if anything ever were to happen, and try to provide. Yes. So if that's the case with Miles, like if the bills came knocking or his mom's health started kicking down to a little meter and he had to put on that suit and get the training with his uncle to do it, yes, I believe that's what probably happened. And yes, it's a possibility. That or other reasons popped up. There are so many other reasons that he could have been the Prowler. 5 in particular, which 4 of them I've already talked about.
And that pretty much makes my family empathize more. His father is the reason why he never been applied in Miles' universe.
I'd also agree with you, but you also got to remember too, his uncle was killed in this universe that we are a part of. His uncle was killed, so that was the personal connection, hence the canon event. Right now, his dad is about to be the captain. According to the canon event, that's the second part that needs to happen. Because let's be frank about it, he never really became Spider-Man until after Uncle Aaron's death. What did he tell him? You gotta keep going. So even though he was grieving, he still had to handle the situation at hand, rather or not his dad just branded him a murderer. So the canon event seemed like it's actually walking into his favor of it actually happening. However, now we have this Miles at the end of the movie. He's had both happen at the same time, but it makes you wonder, did the canon or rules event follow as such? Or is there possibly a paradox in this theory? Because a lot of people question about Miguel in this canon event. Maybe he could have been wrong, because his story seemed a little off to some people. Honestly, it seems spot on. I don't know how it's off.
I say the story wise it was a little bit off, but in reality, I said the paradox you mentioned, it's actually happened because some scientists decided to be very curious as a cat, but satisfaction will not bring them back, bring the spider to that universe, and that paradox happened.
Well, let me ask you a question. Since they changed the fate of this universe, do you think they saved it in some form or some fashion, since technically the canon event still happened?
Honestly, I say no. I say say no. Honestly, Miles become a fire, but due to the fact that he got bit by the spider from a different universe, he's not upholding the responsibility of a Spider-Man. His uncle was killed, like you mentioned, and now his father potentially about to get killed.
Let me rephrase. I'm sorry, I didn't make this clear. Earth 42 Miles. Do you think they saved his universe since technically, according to the canon event, everything has happened as such?
Well, his father actually died. He was a captain, so it wasn't a personal gift, but and the only thing they did is prevent him being Spider-Man. I don't think they prevent the saving this universe at all that much.
But my thing is though, since everything has happened as a canon event should happen, does that technically mean that they saved the universe?
I say maybe.
Because think about it, his pops passed, and he was the captain of this universe as well as the police force. That's 2 in 1. A bird with one stone, 2 birds with one stone.
Maybe, but keep in mind, there's no. We haven't seen that Spider-Man in that universe. We haven't. So I basically feel conflicted. Like it doesn't prevent what's happening. It may be his father, but he is the captain. So therefore, he's still in the category of the captain. It gotta be someone outside of the captain category in order for it to die. So in tune, I say they did not prevent it save his universe for someone very personal, non-captain wise to die. I mean, no, they did not prevent that. I mean, considering this is the Miles is supposed to be Spider-Man, but somebody just happened around to find out. I don't think they ever prevented him at all. And my take, he's still the vigilante slash hero regardless. So he's still helping people, but I say he was more Batman than Superman.
We talk about Marvel and you're gonna throw a whole DC reference. He's more Batman than Superman. What the heck does that mean?
Well, I'm saying that Batman would take a more darkened approach when it comes to being a superhero, and more likely he would get that darkened approach once he get order.
Well, you're not wrong, but sheesh. But okay.
I mean, that's my take. It doesn't prevent what's happened, it will happen, but we never know until the third movie came out, which I thank God they decided to delay the process. I don't want it to be rushed.
Shoot, I'm a little offensive about that. They didn't delay it because it was a good idea. They delayed it because we're going through a writer's strike and now an acting strike.
No, it's not a writer's strike and acting strike. It's the problem. It's the Sony Studios want to rush it out, but
I never called it a problem. I just said that's what we're going through right now.
Animators is just animating crap or no matter what, but due to circumstances, Sony Studios decided now finally to flip and delay it.
A circumstance they caused.
Yeah, exactly.
Then I'm not calling it a problem. I'm saying that's what we're going through right now. I never said it was a problem. That's exactly why they delayed it. And half the other Marvel projects we were supposed to get a little early. We were supposed to get Blade, I believe, at the end or the beginning of next year. Well, rephrase. Ending of this year, beginning of next year. Now they're saying I won't probably get it till 2025.
But I try to say before and say it again, it doesn't delay an inevitable at all.
It may not It may not delay the inevitable, but it has delayed the time I was promised and I was sitting here waiting for it. Now I have to wait double more years to get it. No disrespect. I hope they take their time with every project they get. But the people who make these movies, producers and companies and all that, they don't understand. The longer you let this weigh out, the longer it's going to take for all these projects you have in your hand to be dropped when you say they are. You can't make something at a deadline you promise if you ain't got the people down below to help you. So
it took them 2.5 years to Spider-Punk to actually animate like this. What made you think you would get that out within a year?
Let me ask you a question. Did they rush them in them 2 years? I don't believe that if it took them 2 years.
They lived until Spider-Punk 2.5 years.
Were they rushed?
No, dude, they were not rushed.
You did that before you go any further. If they weren't rushed, that means the movie was perfectly handled and the company who handled it knew what they were doing. However, the rest of these other ones right now are going to put us in jeopardy of what we were promised. specifically the Marvel company itself. So say if we were to get something else with Miles, that's a Sony property, not a Marvel property. Yes, I know that sounds dumb to say, but Sony still owns Spider-Man. And right now, the animated universe right now with Spider-Man is still owned by Sony. What's the first thing that pops up when you see the movie? Sony Entertainments.
But what I'm trying to say is that and Sonic companies trying to rush animators to get this project going. It's coming to the point that even the actors of Spider-Verse don't even have their lines recorded yet.
Well, guess
That's a
what?
problem.
It sounds like Sony is being smart by taking that extra time to fix the movie perfectly. I know, but here's my thing. It's Marvel itself that's rushing these creators. Every last one of them. It don't matter if they're animated, video games, or other. They are messing it up. And now DC's Warner Brothers is doing the same thing. So I don't want them to jeopardize any more projects. And specifically, if anything happens to this Spider-Man 2 game, I'm going to be so mad it doesn't even make sense. But I'm just saying, though. I'm just throwing that out there. I hope to God we get everything we were planned and promised. So all I'm saying is, if they actually have something more for Spider-Man in the development right now, and I mean not Tom Holland's another solo Spider-Man series, I mean like Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, or even a Miles Morales project, I hope Sony does not do what everybody else has done by far, disrespect their writers, creators, and animators to get this stuff right. I hope they don't do it.
Also, it's a rumor, guys. So I don't know if it's true or not. But potentially, Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man might appear on Venom 3.
I was also told that we might actually get another Andrew Garfield movie, which we really should, because they laid a lot of good groundwork for it. We're getting off topic, but it's worth it.
Guys, I mean, come on.
Yeah, sure. But we're getting off topic, but it's okay. I wanted to get that out there. We're going to probably do a separate video on Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man 3 and what they probably should and shouldn't do.
Probably not. Whatever the case is. Oof. I'm just glad you're getting the respect that you deserve. I just hope this same company no offense.
But I think by far, I think we got everything we needed to say about this version of Miles out in the open now. Is he evil or nah? In my opinion, now, he's not. When I was in theater, I thought he was evil, because this man came off like a goddamn, this is gonna be racist as a mug, but he came off as somebody from a Mexican prison, like, oh, I'm Barros Morales. Like, he had a whole deep Latin accent, and my boy was down there speaking Spanish.
Well, yeah, because
So you're telling me just because his accent is better, it's because of just his mom alone? You telling me his dad didn't have no help when he just saw our Miles?
well, his father must have died at a young age, so potentially, yes.
So you're still saying that our Miles is having trouble with his Spanish because his pops is still around. You realize both of them freaked out when they heard he failed Spanish, or had a B. I won't say, my bad. He had a B in Spanish. Look, chill. I know you took Spanish, so don't start trying to roast me because I got his Spanish mixed up. Look.
What I'm trying to say is, based on the circumstances, the one like can speak more English than Spanish in that household.
So you're telling me his dad is holding him back because only his mom speaks Spanish to him and not his pops?
Dude, it's up to that 15-year-old dude to actually learn a lot more Spanish. It's up to him. But
What do you mean? His mom is Spanish.
What
He
I'm trying
need
to
it.
say is, it doesn't matter if you bilingual. Your bilingual speak one language over than the other. So until our Miles, he speak more English than Spanish. But
So you're still
Miles speak more Spanish
so now you're still saying it's his pop's fault because he speaks English more to anybody else than his mom. His mom and him go back and forth in Spanish.
Okay.
Even in the game, they go back and forth in Spanish. So now you're telling me it's really his pop's reason is because he still speaks more English.
Well, that's basically different in different households. He's living with biracial and bilingual, so therefore it depends on the household.
You're still saying it's because since his dad is still around, he don't have to learn as much Spanish. Wow.
I'm putting that crap onto his father, knowing damn well get basically learn Japanese.
And I chose to learn. Unlike him, he has a mom who is Spanish and he can easily just learn from her on a daily basis.
And you just put my point. He chooses to learn more Spanish than English.
My point is he got a B in it though, and you didn't see both their faces. Like, whoa, hold up, mister. Why are you having a B in Spanish? This is because why? His mom and him are Spanish, and they be talking in Spanish at home. So you would think, huh?
Puerto Rican.
Puerto Rican. My point is, it's still Spanish because he takes Spanish class, and they both freaked out.
But still, that's a chance.
I am sorry also to those who are also gonna be like real picky, like, oh, she's trying to help you out, man, and be like, oh, she said Puerto Rican. I get it. I know there are other branches of Spanish and other forms. You don't have to tell me. I know Latin, Spanish, Puerto Rican, Colombian. Look, I recognize all of y'all. Just for the conversation at hand, Spanish. Okay. I ain't trying to be racist.
Okay, but back here we're saying it's his choice. Whether you like it or not, it's his choice. His Spanish has nothing to do with the fact that he wants to learn English or Spanish.
You know what? I'm going to take this back because I remember him specifically saying every time he skips class, he always skips Spanish because he knows it's not going to be big of a deal. They just want him a bigger grade in Spanish. And I forgot, there literally, it is an air bubble, I think in the first movie or the second movie, when he mentions that specifically. He don't really need to be there for Spanish. He can already speak it well enough.
Exactly.
So I'm gonna just take that out now because now I remember him saying that. But it still sounds like you saying his pops has a reason behind why he ain't gonna speak enough of it. But whatever, don't matter. It is what it is, right?
It's still his choice. What are you looking at?
Lord Almighty! Look! In this game, you'd be learning him. You'd be hearing him speak constantly while swinging, stealth, and even on the phone with his mom here and there.
But still, like I said before, they pretty much delayed another goal and 42 miles at this point. I think something else must stuck with him, but we'll never know. So until he is an anti-hero says vigilante, call him Robin Hood.
That's what I'm gonna call him now, is Robin Hood, because of that deleted scene. That, or we're just gonna call him Riley from the Boondocks. Riley wasn't always a bad kid.
I was gonna say that Robin Hood sounds a lot better than Riley.
Yeah, I know, but we call him Riley now because of the hairstyle. Everybody on social media has been calling him that now since the movie came out. We have Huey Miles, which is our Miles, then we have Riley, who is the somewhat evil Miles. So that's what I'm gonna start calling him, is Riley Miles. I ain't gonna call him Robin Hood. I'm calling him Riley Miles.
So that's my take. He pretty much a teenage boy trying to help his mom in his own community and stuff in a different way. And following Uncle Aaron's steps, but at the same time, creating someone a barrier for himself just in case he go too far.
Fair enough.
So yeah, I don't see him as a villain from the start with. I see him as a broken kid trying to live.
I agree. Right now, I see him as a kid who took on the responsibility and trying to help his mom out at home.
Asking an adult that he should not able to do, but you literally had no choice.
My point still stands. He is, like, in my mind now, he is a kid who chose to help his mom when she needed help, and he didn't just sit idly by and watch everything crumble. And he went to the one person he could count on beyond anybody else in his circle who could help him get where he needs to be, and that's Uncle Aaron. You may not like how he is, you may not like how he does things, but whether you know it or not, Uncle Aaron cares a lot for Miles, and he's the only link he has left to family because his brother already turned him away, his sister-in-law turned him away. Everybody he knows don't want nothing to do with him except Miles. And you have to remember, the Prowler is technically an assassin and a thief. Well, not assassin, but he come off like an assassin, but he's a thief. So he don't have that many people in his circle alone except Miles. And he's a villain of Spider-Man. How do you really have a conversation with that with Miles?
I don't see him actually intentionally hurting our Miles or his Miles. I think either way, he's, like you say, he cares for Miles regardless. So I don't see Uncle Aaron pulling him too deep to the point that he can't go back.
And I don't disagree with that at all. I really think he told Miles, if you want me to help you, just ask. And Miles said, teach me your ways, and we'll go from there. And I think that's what happened. At the end of the day, family helped out family. That's what I see. Is that where we gonna leave it?
I really hope my theories came to life. Truth be told.
I really hope, I really do too. I do too. But I will admit this: if he's evil, I won't be really mad. I would think the story would be interesting because if he's evil right off the get-go and he meets our Miles, maybe our Miles can change this Miles.
I said that it's very far-fetched. I mean, keep in mind, ever since the Golden universe, on Miles did is knocking another Miles out so in tune. I don't think Aaron or Miles will attempt to kill him, but interrogating him like, who the fuck were you? That's how
Yeah, give or take. Either one is possible. We're just gonna have to wait till what, 2025 to figure it out, or late 2024.
Make sure if not either one of these two, 2027 please. I'm willing to wait 5 more years just to make sure that movie.
I'm
is
23
great.
right now. Do I really want to wait till I'm 27, possibly married, with you having 3 kids with you, and then watching this movie while they all cry in my lap?
Yes.
Wow. Remind me to wear my backwards Batman hat.
I mean, not gonna lie, I kind of on the fact that they made how long it took the anime Spider-Punk, and as an artist, I was like, take your effing time, Sony.
Well, if that's the case, all my kids gonna be wearing Spider-Man by the time we go to the movie. Fair?
Okay.
All right. Anywho, Websters, we'll catch you guys in another video. Thanks for tuning in this one with us tonight. Yes, it's nighttime where we are, so y'all be safe. Y'all have a good night's sleep, or a good morning or afternoon.
Right now.
Yes. And we'll catch y'all in another video. Later, Websters.
I see.